Good morning, everyone. Commissioner Ruane sends his apologies. He's unable to attend today, so unfortunately, you're stuck with me. So as we start today, I'd like to start off with the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, so the first item is to approve the minutes.
Second.
Everybody good with that? Perfect. They're approved. The next item will be to talk about approving the long-term recovery plan. Today, we have the original plan that was out there. We do have two sets of comments that were sent from the city of Sanibel, which I believe you all received earlier this week. And the second set came from the town of Fort Myers Beach this morning, which we've provided to each of you. Long story short is the county does not have any issues with most of that content. I'll start with Fort Myers Beach. We have no issues. I think that we would like for the municipalities to have that opportunity to describe their communities how they see fit. So we don't see any issue with it. I don't believe. I just want to say we don't see any issue with it. I want to clarify some of the comments that we made in our email. For the city of Sanibel, we don't have an issue with the comments on page 15 and the comments on page 20. The only issue that we really have is the workforce housing. The workforce housing is specific. We'd rather be more general in terms of where that goes. If we put that in there, I think our concern would be that we might not be able to meet that. We don't disagree with that comment. We just don't want it to be stated in the document that hold the county to that task because it is an unincorporated Lee County. Other than that, we don't really have any other issues with the document. So just wanted to put that out there. I'd like to turn it over to Haggerty, unless anybody has any questions first based on that. Yes.
I do. And thank you for the opportunity and thank you for taking the time to go through our comments. I greatly appreciate it. And I know that you spoke with our city manager, Dana Souza, and we are in complete agreement that maybe that was a little too specific. That might have been one area. And we realized it needs to be more regional on that point. So we would respectfully withdraw that portion.
Great.
And just put forward the other amendment input that we had.
Perfect.
That you are
Great.
comfortable with,
Thank you.
which I believe is all of them.
Yes. And the only other issue, I shouldn't say issue, the only other concern we had is with page 20, we wanted to be more consistent with the way the town of Fort Myers Beach presented it. We're asking, we're not demanding anything here. We think we would like to be more consistent with how the town wrote it. It was the barrier islands, which included Sanibel, Fort Myers Beach, and Pine Island. And we could also include the coastal areas of Cape Coral as well and make it consistent. So that would be our suggestion for both the town and Cape Coral's descriptions, just to add those components in there. And if anybody doesn't have any issues with that, I'll turn it over to Harrison. But if you'd like to discuss it, we're open.
I would just make a comment on that.
Sure.
I would trust you to wordsmith that would include all coastal
Correct.
areas within the flood zone.
Correct.
All along.
Unincorporated Lee County.
Yep.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, and so then what you're talking about is the area that would be deleted along with the island communities of City of Sanibel and Pine Island. We would just make it more generic as coastal communities.
I think we're fine if you would like to say the City of Sanibel, town of Fort Myers Beach, coastal areas of Cape Coral, unincorporated areas, unincorporated coastal areas. I think that is appropriate because it covers most of the areas of concern.
Right, we had no problem with that.
Okay.
That'd be fine. Thank you.
So if we're good with that, Harrison, I'll turn it over to you.
Great. Well, that is the primary business of this meeting, is to come to a conclusion on submitted comments. There were other comments, and I think most of those have, the ones that were of note have been discussed now. Is there any further discussion related to the document at large, or any of the comments that were shared?
Holly Smith, I would second that.
Do we have a consensus? Do we have any discussion? Thank you. I'm not I don't run this
You're
stuff.
doing great.
I'm just the county manager. Do we have any discussion? Yeah, the county manager. Do we have any discussion? We do take public comment now. Public comment? Yeah, we'll take public comment next before we make the final approval. I knew we did.
Thank you, Marcia Ellis, for the record. So I had previously requested a copy of the plan as I commented when it was available online in those chunks. This has been an issue because I still don't have a copy of that plan, though I've had discussions with various people that are very interested in what was posted and want to look at that document. So I would very much like to have it. The fact that I'm having to have these conversations repeatedly to get access to a document that I commented on, that was a bit of a Herculean feat to even work through, is really a bit troubling to me. Because there are folks who maybe they have a job, maybe they're teaching a class, who would very much like to be able to review this document and have community conversations that don't have access to it. Nor do I think that it's really my role as a member of the public to have to try to find a workaround and back somebody into a corner somewhere. And please, can you share this with me? That's just not how I roll and not how I expect my community to roll. So just in all transparency, if I could get a copy of this document in full that was available to the public for that comment period so that I can take it out and have some conversations with other people about what's in there, it would be well appreciated.
Any other public comment? Would you like to address that or would you like me to? Okay.
So the document can be seen on resiliently.com and it's available and was made available a month ago. And so that's available for the public to review and to look at.
Perfect. So do we have any additional comments? Discussion? Oh, another one. I apologize.
Thank you. I think there's some confusion on the funds and the use of proceeds. Can you explain, is this a relief? Are these going to be relief funds or are these resiliency funds that are going to be used later down the later years? I think there's just confusion there. Thank you.
Sure. So this plan and the jurisdiction of this plan is really to be a large, widescreen, long-term recovery plans at a strategic level. So it's looking at the long-term objectives for recovery and resilience that are not tied to any one funding stream, but are rather about what is the shared common mission of this region that is wanting to be achieved. That multiple types of funding, multiple opportunities might be put in favor of. There's a separate conversation that deals with the specific CDBG-DR funds, the disaster recovery funds that have come to this community. But that really is a separate piece. This is rather a larger strategic plan for the community. Okay.
It's just relief or resiliency. Relief would be near term to help the community now. Resiliency is in years down the line. I think there's a large, I'm only asking because I've been sitting in the meetings and you're well aware. I'm asking because I know there's a huge misunderstanding in the community on what this country is.
Well, if I may, this document is to go out and be able to apply for grants. There is no funding attached to this specific document itself. This is an overarching document that you can use when you go out, when any entity here goes forward to apply for a grant. You have all the public comment from the community expressing their concerns and needs, that goes a long way when you search for grants. So this is more than likely a little bit of both. I mean, it could be for some short-term grants, but also long-term. This is going to be a long-term recovery. We'll be dealing with this 8 to 10 years as part of the plan, how this plan rolls out. If you look at what was the Bay County. Bay County's still dealing with theirs years afterwards. So this is a long-term plan.
So the 1 point something billion dollars is not associated with this plan?
Those dollars are CDBGDR dollars. That is separate from this. That is for housing and infrastructure. This task force did do some initial work regarding the CDBGR, but that is separate from this. That funding doesn't comport with this other than the housing component if it meets that criteria.
I'm asking because I think that there's a big misunderstanding in the community that that's the case. Like, so we picked up, so we're pretty clear on what the different areas are, the different sections. But in speaking on behalf of some of our clients and the community in general, there's not an understanding of this. There are folks that are still waiting for this task force to make decisions so that they can ask for help because they need help. It's been over a year. So I'm just asking questions more to our community, where there's communication, better communication of what this fund or what this group is here to do.
Sure. And I will state that we've had numerous meetings out in every segment of the community specific to CDBGDR. CDBGR takes a long time because it is a federal grant. Each municipality here will receive dollars through that process. We're working with everyone as we move forward. It will take a long time. There will continue to be communication outreach to the community. That is part of the plan. So it's still rolling out. We have not received any of those dollars. We're still working through the plan as we speak. You're welcome.
I haven't received
Mr.
any emails. Nobody has sent me an email.
I'm sorry.
about
I'm sorry. You've already had public comment and that we got to have a decorum here, please. Thank you.
I'm sorry.
I understand. You can talk to me after the meeting. I'll talk to you. Okay. Yes.
Yeah, I just wanted, if I may,
Yes.
I just wanted to comment on that. You know, this plan is kind of a building block. Each of our municipalities, each of the stakeholders around the table are tasked within their own jurisdiction and whatever agency they come from. We are working on everyone's behalf on our municipalities based on what our priorities are legislatively and federally, bringing those dollars. I think there was a lot of confusion on the 1.1 billion, but I think that we have tried to educate. I think Hagerty has done that. The Collaboratory has done that. The county has done that. That's a separate entity. That is one pool of dollars, and we're hoping a lot more comes through. And in addition, this plan is going to evolve over time. So if I'm not mistaken, through Hagerty, we'll be looking at other opportunities and grants as they come forward for federal dollars, local dollars, grant dollars from any different agencies, you know, local, state, federal, that we can all utilize. So this was kind of a hub for us to come together as a stakeholder group that was chosen to say, how are we going to look to this in the future for short term, for long term? So I think hopefully that's clarified a little bit, but if there's any additional comments, I don't know where you're from, maybe we can direct you to your individual source that you need to be speaking to.
Perfect. Great comments. Thank you. Any other comments or discussion? So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, it's unanimous. So the next step is we will be taking our plan to the board on March 20th. If each entity has approved theirs, we will include that. The board will not be approving your plan. They'll be accepting it as the entirety. If you do it after the 20th and you would like for the board to move forward with that as well, we will amend that and include your plan following that date. So either way, it'll work. So any other discussion? Yes.
Yes, one final comment. I would ask that we have a revised final draft that was just approved today. As soon as we possibly can, I'd like to take it to our council as well. I can speak as a stakeholder, but I want to make sure our council sees that they're in receipt. So as soon as possible, if we could have those revisions with the red lines, how they were
Fantastic.
included, I'd
Yes.
appreciate it.
We will do that.
Yep.
Perfect.
Right on it.
Any other comments? Great. We're adjourned. Thank you very much.